Esteem. I wire.
Hey, check the air real quick.
DIYers. It's all good. Thankfully, you on a DIY channel, so they seen everything. Even yesterday, I was there having a full blown conversation with Open Mike E when they was like, I was like, let's go ahead. They seen everything.
Oh,
even yesterday.
God.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Look, you want one? That's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, we joined here by F.D. Signifier. How you doing today, sir?
Chilling, man, chilling. I'm in a grind mode. I'm in a grind mode, but it feels good. I haven't felt like this in a while, and I don't want to feel like this again for a while once it's all over.
What is this? What is this specifically?
My hair is on fire, bro. Like I usually try to do a video every 2 months, sprinkle in some side channel joints. Every 2 to 3 months, sprinkle in some side channel joints and call it a day. But I am about to drop my third video in 3 months. Next week, God willing. I think third video in 3 months. I'm in the middle of writing this Tyler Perry video, which is 30,000 words long. So that's like a short novel, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just made the decision. You hear it here first, y'all. That was supposed to come out for Christmas. It's looking more like Black History Month. Looking more like Black History Month.
Look, one thing they're gonna do is wait for an FD Signifier video. And it's funny because I told you about it before we got on here. I said there was a conversation that I was gonna have. I was gonna do a video today. I had it already planned. I was dropping my son off, and then a thought came to me about a broader conversation about where society is heading in general, beyond hip hop. You know, a lot of the stuff I do obviously is hip hop content, but it was a broader conversation, and I was like, dog, this is when I would go to an FD Signifier video to get a broader perspective on things and the historical context, and just knowing that even though how psychotic and idiotic the time period we're living in can be, there's a story that comes before that you'll pull up and be like, you know, that's not the first time this happened.
I was gonna do.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird sort of comfort that I get when I go to your videos and I'm like, okay, all right, it's stupid, but it ain't like the first. It ain't like first of its kind type of stupid. So, but let me give you this proper introduction, man. In case you have not gone into the universe of FD Signifier, I know you have at some point in time come across this gentleman. Today, we're joined by one of the most important thinkers in the Black YouTube space, pulling up on a channel, a man whose work pushes conversations forward. He's a cultural critic, educator, filmmaker, and commentator who breaks down everything from hip-hop to masculinity to Black media in ways that make you stop, think, and reflect. His videos are deep, sharp, honest, and sometimes uncomfortable for some, but always necessary, and he's done it all with integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, we got FD Signifier in the building. What a hell of a collaboration this is.
Thank you. I gotta only get MCs to do my intros from now on.
Come on.
If you don't have, hold up.
Use me like E40 to get you.
If you can't spit a 16, if you ain't got 16s in your record, I don't want you to describe my career, because ain't nobody described my career in a way that resonates with me like that. Just shit is there right now. Actually, I was like, oh yeah, this is the Kendrick energy, because like so much of my, I base my writing style on battle rap. Like
really,
go back and not the B-sides as much. But if you go through my catalog on the main channel, there's 3 major influences to my writing style in my videos: anime, wrestling, and battle rap.
Interesting.
I think about the conceits of those 3 mediums when I write, and like, okay, how would an anime end? How would this section end if it were an anime?
Got it.
How would I introduce this concept if it were a new wrestler? And how would I land this point if I wanted to get Don DeMarco to play after I said it? You know what I'm saying? Shit like, yeah. Like I think about that. Like when I write something, I say in my head, Don DeMarco. Like I do.
If I could have pushed the button after you said, what was the quote that you had about Drake and Vanilla Ice Cream? If I could have pushed
you think Vanilla Ice Cream is spicy? That's exactly what it was. I cut. That was like 5 minutes of me roasting.
Yeah, and
like I cut only to those 2 because I was like, I don't want it to get too far into it.
Right.
Like that was what I was thinking of. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was Suave Seva or you know, somebody like, how would I roast? Like, I do be thinking like that. And so it makes sense that it would resonate like how you just described that.
Yeah.
Especially the Curtis King voice, of course.
Come on, man.
Yeah, this is why this is my place on the internet. So,
and I got to give you your roses, man, because I watch your videos, and it's funny because I've watched so many broad videos, so many broad topics in your videos. One of my favorite movies of all time is Demolition Man, and being able to sit there and say, I knew I wasn't crazy. I wasn't crazy. I knew there was a deeper message here. I knew it related to where we're at, but sometimes you just have, not even sometimes, you have the God-given ability of articulating these things in a way that takes these complex ideas and not just simplifies them, but gives it evergreen value to where it's like, you know what, I'll never see this movie the same. And the same thing goes to the hard-hitting topics as well. Like I said, the ones that make some folks a bit uncomfortable at times, but I love that you're having them because it's the kind of stuff that I refer to in the middle of a conversation with my boys. And I'm like, he can explain this a lot better than what I'm trying to explain it. But I'm telling you, I got a point somewhere around here. So I appreciate that. For the people who know your videos, but maybe not your story, how do you personally describe who FD Signifier is and what your mission is?
Now you asking for, I see. The one thing I am a writer. So you put me on the spot for like the sway freestyle on it. It's gonna come out a little less refined. I'm FD Signifier. I was a real life SJW. You know what I mean? Like I, at some point after college, just decided the thing I liked more than anything else I was imagining for myself in my future was trying to save the world in some form or fashion, because it was in my genes. I didn't realize it. Well, I knew it, but I was trying to resist it. But like once I started getting in front of kids and helping people, I was like, oh, this is the best thing. I'm gonna do this. But you know, the systems are the systems. I was teaching down here in Atlanta, and I kept getting into trouble because I kept doing shit that you wasn't supposed to do to actually help kids. Because you know what I learned relatively quickly is that the system is not meant to help the people. The system is meant to protect itself. And so like I was a teacher, I was a social worker, and I was working in research behind the scenes, like public health research. And I would keep running into that problem, that the answer to how to help people would be very clear, but the system would let me know that it can't do that because that would hurt the system. People would get sued. We would have to take taxes away from billionaires, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But, you know, I'm just trying to do my thing still, trying to make money. Thankfully, my wife at the time was low-key Olivia Pope. So I'm making my little save the world money, and she making some corporate money. So we're doing fine.
It's all working hand in hand.
So, yeah. So it's, you know, I get to save the world, and I'm trying to make up for the harm she's doing in corporate America. So the COVID hits. I got into a debate with somebody on Facebook, like the, you know, debate clown that I am at heart. And you know how the Facebook arguments go, be 55 comments, ain't nobody paying attention. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a video. And so I made a video about Hamilton because I had time on my hands. And you know, I'm arguing with this person about how Hamilton is like really, really like entertaining, but also it's the worst thing ever. And
that's a hell of a you know when they talk about the packaging of the thumbnail to the title, that right there is embedded in it.
yeah it's like these are rapping slave masters. I loved watching it, don't get me wrong, but George Washington had the best song on the show. He was also the worst slave master of all the founding fathers, so we can't, they left that part out,
right?
And so I started making more videos after that because I was like, I'm pretty good at this. And then like at a certain point, I was like, you know what, I'm a really try this because I'm finishing up my PhD. And you know, I'm tired of trying to maneuver the system. And so like if there's money here, then we're gonna do this. And so I started finding success. I started evolving even more in my politics. I got introduced to people that told me I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, and I realized it was right. So I started evolving more, and I started deciding like I'm gonna really put in the work to engage with Black political ideology and identity in a way that I wasn't seeing, engage with Black men in ways I wasn't seeing. But also at heart, I'm a hip hop nerd. I'm a nerd. So I'm gonna do those things in between, and in fact, I'm gonna make that the core of things, and I'm gonna sneak in stuff so that you don't realize it's happening, you know. You'll be done, picked up a Molotov cocktail. I talked to let me tell you like my new favorite piece of lore, then I'll let you jump back in. You know CJ the leftist on TikTok.
CJ the leftist. I've probably seen a few posts.
You might have seen him. He's a hardcore dude. Like he's no nonsense, but he's only like 20, right? And he puts a lot of like he's read more than me. He's way more radical than me, etc. Right. So like it's intimidating from like an elder spot to realize this young dude already got me cornered. But we had a conversation. He let me know he used to watch me when he was in high school. Right. So I'm like, oh, I'm doing my job. Like,
is it a weird feeling? Because same thing happened with Chris Patrick a few days ago. He was like, I'm giving him all kind of props, and he's like, dog, I used to watch your videos on FL Studio, and he's like, this is the reason I still use FL Studio and to record all my music. I'm like, but now you got your platform. You right. Like everybody. Right. But it is, I guess there is embedded in that a sense of pride of like, every take ain't gonna be a take that everybody gonna agree with. But as long as I know that I did this with integrity and responsibility, I'm glad that it's landing. And then these are the results of
the embers are creating further growth and flames elsewhere. I used to watch Company Man. You know what I'm saying? I used to like that was I told when I first like it's funny when all that nonsense happened with you know who. Like I had never spoken to Company Man, but just the visual of that, you're right. I had to started tweeting. I deleted a bunch of tweets. You know what I'm saying? And so like that, that's the beauty of what we're doing. Like we are creating ripples in the culture in a variety of ways with our content. So it's dope shit.
Yeah, man. And I feel like that got amplified specifically when you're talking about the diversity of voices and speaking on hip hop, right? I don't even want to consider it hip hop media because I feel like that just comes with its own kind of labels and history attached to it. Like I like the fact that we're in a space where we're having a lot of conversations with peers and some of our brothers from all over the world who are able to chime in and give some unique perspective. I'm curious. So in this space that we're in right now, you talked about cycles in Black culture. What cycle do you think hip hop is in right now, specifically in 2025, from your vantage point?
I think hip hop is. I think one or two things are happening, and it's not just hip hop. It's like media in general, how we consume media. Because like we had, the whole viral thing. I guess that was last week. There weren't no top 40. There were no rappers in the top 40s.
I had a question for that one coming up.
And it's like, personally, I was like, but also what is the top 40 now? How do we even compute that? Like, how does that calculation done? Before it was done based on radio airplay and tangible record sales of projects that people packaged and put in stores. And now it's SKUs and streaming numbers, which are subject to so many frameworks of manipulation and don't mean the same, right? Like it don't mean the same to go and buy a CD from the store with intention and your money than it is to subscribe to a streaming service to listen to music on rent. And that's something the people don't realize, that like you don't own the music you stream. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're renting it from the streamer. And so like all these things. And so so to kind of get back on focus. So on one end, what we're seeing in hip hop that either worries us or makes us celebratory is a ramification of like the overall nature of media as a whole right now in the world, as technocratic, as tech companies and all these government entities and all this stuff is really playing around with art and commerce in a way that we don't know how it's going to go. In that there is no overarching culture right now. There's pockets of culture, and people often are not even aware of these other subgenres. They're not even aware of how they're siloed sometimes. So like from my perspective, hip hop is in the best place it's ever been because I now am surrounded by the stuff I like. You know what I'm saying? Mobb Deep came out with an album a couple weeks ago.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, what's wrong? Things are great.
We're having heated debates about the Grammy category from Clips versus Kendrick.
Right. Like, what are you talking about? Shit is great.
Not a bad place to be in. Right.
On the flip side, right? Okay. Hip hop is also clearly dying with all these other like mediums, like
Wouldn't
all
say
these, because the nature of the way mediums grow now is so atomized, the way anything happens. So like fandom as a whole isn't the same. I don't know if we'll ever have like people. So an example I've been using in these conversations is, remember when Avengers 1 came out and it was like this universal moment? We may never have that again in a movie or any piece of art because the nature of consuming the art is so proliferated. If that it's hard to just keep anything going. So hip hop is getting old. Hip hop is getting siloed. The rap music. So I guess we can get into BigxThaPlug. BigxThaPlug.
It's all good. Well, no, because it sounds like what you're also alluding to is something I covered on here, which is the death of monoculture.
Yes.
And how we don't have these shared experiences anymore. And we don't even got the same TV shows if we don't got the same streaming platforms. It has been a pain in the ass to try to keep up with all of these streaming networks that are playing NBA games this season, because it's been spread out so many different places. It's like, dog, like I'm glad I'm like a diehard Laker fan, because it's easy to find that.
Right.
But the rest of this stuff, we're just living in a different time. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so when you say it's the death of the monoculture, it's hard to share. So one thing that's hard to share is like traditions and values. Not to say that our values and traditions are the most perfect elite ones, but we are in a position where there is such a disconnect in ensuring that younger generations are at least being able to witness like what hip hop meant for me and you growing up in an organic manner. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to put in so much work to make those things connected. And it's almost impossible. And then when you think about the mediums to which you communicate, it creates so much noise and so much opportunity for conflict and so much disconnect that something like think of so I think it starts with, so let's talk about some of the news that's come out.
Right.
So Clips and GNX. So what's the name of the album? Let God Sort Them Out and GNX. It's like, okay, which one's the best rap album? Right. So that's a debate. That debate spills into fandoms. And as much as I love Kendrick, you know, we've had our tits and tats, but mostly agree on things. I think we both agree that Kendrick's audience has gotten a little weird since the beef. There's elements of his audience that is
stan culture has gotten very intense. In general, stan culture.
Yeah.
Like,
everybody, I got stans.
Yeah, I want to say, even I got people who speak for me, and I'm like, I don't know that nigga. I don't know him. Don't you let him speak for me of my brand.
Right.
Saying crazy shit. Yeah.
But so Pete, the stan culture element to that debate spills into Rory and Mal, so that somebody exposes Rory's 10-year-old, 15-year-old racist tweets. Right. So now we're 2 levels down. And so then Rory crashes out and does the anti-Anthony Fantano and completely mishandles the situation.
That was the worst. That Spaces was the worst I've ever seen something get handled. I'm like, don't do the job of proving what people are trying to dig for. It sounds to me, and I'm curious to what your perspective was. The clips that I heard, it sounded as arrogant and comfortable in his space in Black culture as those tweets sounded 10 years ago. It didn't sound like, you know what, I might have been too comfortable then because I'm part of a historical Black fraternity. I thought that I was in the end. And now 10 years later, I have a more mature understanding about my place. And I know how to navigate this, especially as a voice in a popular podcast. But damn it, he went in there and said, I double down, but not for real.
This is my right. I'm with it. I'm of the culture, right? Like, and it's so funny because it's like the irony is, and this is why I said, like, before I even really got super radical in my videos, one of the first things I said that was new at the time is that the cookout has been closed since 2016. If you didn't get an invite before then, you are not coming. And if you had an invite before then, it is hereby revoked until further notice.
Remind me what happened in 2016.
Donald Trump became president.
There you go.
At that point, we had to officially close it. It was like, look, we got way too ahead of ourselves. We got to get our own house in order before we invite anybody else in. And so the irony is that I think because Rory is so familiar, conversely, like Fantano has never claimed to really be like of the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's always been like, I'm a music critic that really loves hip hop, along with a bunch of other music, half of which I'm like, that's all you, Andy, right? But like when Fantano got pressed a couple of months ago, he just did an apology video and kept it moving.
Right.
And like Rory was like, what you mean? Who gonna check me, boo? Like
he was even asking the people who are critical of him. He said, what part? Do you want me to? What do you mean, what part? Yeah. Every single tweet we bring up here is in question. You need to be apologetic about it all, even if you didn't say, you know what?
Right.
I didn't type that. It might have been somebody on AI, but if I might have, I'm gonna just go ahead and say my bad, because this is all looks crazy right now.
Yeah. And the deepest thing is, I think either what. So first off, audience, go watch Justin's video, and really, especially the white audience, go watch Professor Sky just delivered the best video about race for white people that I've seen in so long, because he didn't make it about black people. It was about the relationship white people have to racism and issues around race.
Yeah. But
one of them said something along the lines of, damn, I lost it. One of them said something along the lines of fuck. So it was good.
I try not to cut in, because I know what that feels like when it was dissolving in. No, that's all good.
It stays out. Something along the lines of getting too comfortable. No, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. But the point was that it recognizing that your status as a guest never ends. You know what I'm saying? And that you can either operate with that in mind or get too comfortable, which is, I think, what Rory did. And like, I don't know a lot about Rory, and Rory, for all the different hip hop media figures that I may critique, this is the first time he's popped up on my radar as like being problematic. So I don't want to like bury dude. But his response was just emblematic of a white person that is way too comfortable versus like just, that's what they said. They were pointing out how it's very clear that like the people in that spaces wanted him to just apologize, and they were like being overly gracious. You know what I mean? Like, I think what you mean is this. I think if you thought about it this way, you would see where they were not browbeating him. They were not giving him the beat down that he was earning in the moment, and he still kind of wasn't rolling with it. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
That's it.
I was gonna say really quick, even for myself as a light-skinned black male in this space, I didn't recognize the perspective on the outside of how people may be perceiving the whole get down. In my world, my name is D''WAN, and any job that I've ever put that name on said no, thank you, sir. Oh, the one with a apostrophe and a capital W. So my experience is very different in that I did not understand the privilege that may have been in front of me, but I had to learn a lesson a few months ago when I was on the Rap Latte podcast, and a really brilliant friend of mine gave me perspective that I needed, in that it's not a matter of like giving in to the mob that is telling you what your experience is. It's acknowledging the existence of what they're saying. Yeah. The full denial is just showing your privilege on full display. So I think there's things like, that's a very nuanced conversation that goes beyond just, I'm comfortable around black folks. I didn't date it. Like, to my Rory, I didn't dated black women and that goes far beyond that. That's another conversation where it's like, damn, even me as somebody who is black, I still got to have these conversations in my mind. That's like, that is my experience, but we must acknowledge that this is a reality for some people that look like you.
Yeah, we end up having that conversation about being men when we start engaging with the ladies. I've had that conversation about being born here versus folks that came here on as immigrants, and recognize the differences there, but also vice versa. But to bring it back though, the reason why I brought that up is like hip hop music used to, when hip hop music, my formative memories of hip hop arguments were always about the music. It was always like, I remember a Redman versus K Solo debate I had with my cousin in like 92 that clearly I lost because I was a K Solo fan.
Okay. Yeah, no, Redman was
Yeah, I had to learn. Listen, I'll come to accept that I actually have a really bad taste, but we'll come back to that later. But like, it was always the music. I remember arriving on a college campus and meeting Black people from DC, and I had never heard go-go, but they had never heard house music. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm saying, they're saying homies from, you know, that love Fabulous from New York, and I'm like, Fabulous, all right, have you heard this Twister? You know, like, and that's what it was all about. You know what I mean? But now the stan culture of it all, and this again brings you back to the universal element. Stan culture is just another venue for the culture wars. And under late capitalism, under this fractured social reality that we're in, culture wars has replaced material like value in almost every venue, where we stop thinking about the material quality of the music, the material reality of our lives, and the money we make. If we're able to take care of our kids, feed ourselves, have healthcare, etc. All of that has been very intentionally and effectively removed from the marketplace of discussion and action, and replaced with, what does your consumption say about you? What are you a fan of? And how much do you hate the fans of insert thing here because you're a fan of that thing over there? Right. And so the stan culture is actually like, that's how we have the president we have today. And this is you can look this up. The most effective commercial for Donald Trump in this last election was them showing Kamala Harris talking about trans prisoners in Mexico or something like that. So,
really?
So like whatever that commercial was, when they said Kamala's for they, them, not for you. And don't get me wrong, if that was like a battle rap bar, you get a Don DeMarco, but just the wordplay, right?
Yeah.
Right. But it's fundamentally some bullshit, because whether or not a trans prisoner in Mexico gets to like have, you know, trans confirming for identity confirming care has nothing to do with how much eggs cost. Nothing to do with gas. Nothing to do with.
I try to save it. I try to save that, but go continue, sir.
Right. It has nothing to do with those things. It's completely immaterial to 99.9% of most people's like real concerns in life. But the culture wars of it all had people come out to support Donald Trump and not support. And there's a lot of other features. I want to be clear. I made multiple videos about it. But like, what I'm getting at is that, so my biggest concern with hip hop is like how little of the music, bringing to BigxThaPlug, him thinking he's not an artist because he does hip hop. I'm like, what do you mean?
He literally couldn't get the statement off without saying, I don't want to be just known as a hip hop artist. I'm an artist. It's like, you can't say what you just did a thing.
All right. I don't want to be known as a live human being. I want to be
I don't want to be known as a piece of man. I want to be known as a man.
Right. I don't want to be a round ball. I want to be a spherical one. I want to be a sphere.
This is the specific reason I love your perspective on these type of things, because the broader conversation, I got my theories, right? At some point in time, and I don't want to make it just about that stan base, because I think it exists in every stan base. Even when we start bringing in the conversation about bots from Turkey and how much of this is actually the dead internet theory and things like that. But I'm curious, where do you think we went from? You said early 90s, you having a debate with your cousin, about versus Redman. And now you're talking about a space where people who consider themselves rap fans are saying, don't nobody want to hear that Harriet Tubman music. Don't nobody want to hear that slave music. They're bringing up photos and articles about Martin Luther King Jr. during a battle between Kendrick and Drake. And I'm like, what is so appealing about this? Even like the MAGA raps this year, the dude who had the lynching, the lynching imagery inside of his video. I'm like, what is so appealing about this space? Wouldn't you want to be like wouldn't we be like kind of allergic to this space because of how many of us is in here?
So the thing that I think about a lot is the intrinsic power of hip hop as like a genre of art and music, and blackness in general. So all the most I'm going to say all the most human forms of art come from Black people, which is why everybody loves our art the most. Which is why like worldwide, our art is the art that everybody's trying to do a version of. It may not be exactly like what started out in the Bronx, but you can tell. It may not be what Buddy Guy and Charlie Wilson, insert person here, but you can tell. You know what I'm saying? As soon as we started, I don't want to get into my Afrocentrism bag, but like there's something that we're doing as the original people that everybody else vibrates with all the time, right? So hip hop is the most recent flag bearer for that essence. And so they gonna come get it. They're gonna come get it. They did it for jazz. They did it for rock and roll. They did it for hip hop. Sure, and whatever we do next, it'll be Afro beat. They're gonna do it. We're gonna have European beat. You know what I'm saying?
Euro Afro beat.
Afro beat.
I don't do Afro beat. I do Euro beat. Like,
Euro
don't
beat.
do that.
I don't want to think myself as an Afro beat artist. I'm more of an artist.
I'm more of a Euro beat type.
Right.
I don't like. I'm laughing, but I'm laughing through tears right now. But continue.
Yeah,
I know what's coming.
So take that in mind, right?
Right.
That also is the monkey's paw, the double-edged sword of it is. And I said this way back I said it in the Kendrick Drake video, but the first time I really articulated it was in the Kid and Play video. Right. Because I went into Kid and Play's video because like I just thought I did pop in my head and I was like, were they like the first industry plants?
Yeah.
And I started researching. I was like, oh no, these actually some real niggas. They was cool.
Right.
And I was like, wait, NWA was the first industry plant.
That is an FD signifier train of thought. Like
I'm not putting that on you. I'm not putting that on you. I know you in LA.
I'm just saying. I know. I'm not even saying that I'm like absolving myself of credit. I'm saying that's how I follow your videos, and I'm like, how did we end up here, FD? You didn't warn me about this. It's not fair. Because now I got to understand what your point is because you about to land it.
Right. So the first industry plants were not specifically NWA, but they're like representative of what happened. So the point I'm getting to is that hip hop starts organically. It's Black people, handful of brown people, sprinkling some white people, disco clubs, right? We got people on coke, we got gay people, we got big old parties happening where somewhere out the ether hip hop emerges from all these different things. And it stays local, it stays organic, it stays street, it becomes even more and more Black. And it becomes very much very masculine because you got brothers competing, right? It's pulling from, I don't know the direct connections. I know we got a lot of Jamaican influence, we got a lot of immigrant influence, but it's pulling clearly from like African traditions of how we communicate in music and drums, etc. And as soon as it becomes commercially viable, the corporations come through and they terraform the entire environment. And so the reason why I brought it up with that Kid and Play video is because I remember in the moment thinking real hip hop is, NWA and, all these other elements, and the fake stuff is Kid and Play. Mind you, Play is a straight up street urchin. Play is a goon. Play has a real pass in the streets and was like, I'm good on that. I'm trying to do this music.
I heard of that. Yeah, I heard a little bit about that. That's crazy. Yeah.
Right. And then no shade to the legends, even though some of them do stuff that I don't agree with today. But half of NWA is not nearly as gangster as they presented themselves to be. Not even close.
Eazy-E kind of showed you a little bit when he met with the president at that time too.
Eazy-E and damn, I'm doing it. It's Eazy Dre. No, it's Eazy Dre Q, but who's the fourth one that don't get as much?
See Ren?
Ren. It's Eazy and Ren are the only ones with like real street connections from my research, right? Cube and Dre pretty much know. They're not like from Canada. No, damn, I'm doing it.
Damn.
They're not.
Damn. Hold on.
They're not from completely outside of the culture or anything.
Right.
But they're not who they play in the music. But the corporations reckon, and think about gangs at that time. Gangs didn't coordinate like that. that whole gang color coordination thing was something that was a Hollywood product made by white people in studios. So I say all this to say, because I'm going all over the place. I'm doing my thing.
You
right?
good. You cooking. Go ahead.
So you asked me like, why is hip hop? Why do we have MAGA rap? Why do we have all this anti-intellectualism? Why do we have whatever? It's because from day two, not day one, but from day two, when hip hop became a commercial product, we lost control of it.
Yeah.
And we sacrificed, and I don't blame nobody. If you was hungry and in the streets, you an artist, and you come to Rakim and say, I like this record y'all did. How about $3 million for a second one? Which was unheard of at the time.
For real, yeah.
I'm not gonna be mad at Rakim and Eric B for being like, where do I sign? And then give us classics.
You getting Magic Johnson money at that time because some NBA contracts wasn't even that big like that.
Right. But the problem was we didn't have the political and like media literacy to recognize the fullness of what was happening. And the end result now is that while hip hop still has all this amazing stuff, my new favorite artist I discovered this year, and I won't be as locked in as y'all, so don't tell me like oh, we knew about him. I know, but damn, I'm about to fuck up his name. He did Magic Alive. McKinley Dixon.
I think you shared him in the group chat.
Yeah, I talked about it. Yeah. So like I still have the type of hip hop I love the most coming to me, but now hip hop is also selling, MAGA rap and Pepsi products. McKinley Dixon, thank you. Yeah. And so we have to kind of reframe, unfortunately, our understanding of what hip hop is, because it stopped being that actually very early in the game. It just became impossible to ignore that in the last decade or so. In the last maybe 15 years, it started being very apparent just how wide the gap between our understanding of hip hop and what hip hop was to a lot of people had changed. You know, and I say this as a Southerner who came down here a backpack hip hop snob and left a Lil Jon and the East Side Boy, Memphis rap fan.
Right? Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, we kept alluding, so I didn't mean to cut you off, but we kept alluding.
No, I'm ready.
We kept alluding to it, and they're in there talking. They're like, what did he say? What did he say? Well, we about to show you what he said. And I'm telling you right now, make sure you hit the like button. Definitely show your appreciation to FD Signifier. If you're not already subscribed, you already know what to do. Go find all of them damn channels and subscribe now, because there's value on every single one of them. But in this clip here, it's interesting because this clip came out about 3 months ago. It's a full interview that he did with New York Times, I believe, in their podcast YouTube channel. And sitting with two Caucasian interviewers, he's being asked about his foray into country, his relationship with Post Malone. And I
got some things to talk about, but
I know you do. That's why you here, sir. Okay, so let me get into this part of the clip where he's like glowing at the idea of, man, I got in Nashville and they showed me so much more love. I just want to give context for those who haven't seen the clip. Here it goes.
But,
drunk off the fruit juice.
For sure. But now when I said it, a lot of people was like, the response I got from the country lane, like all the artists, that was just like, I need it. I want to be on it. And I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. And you saw it as a commercial opportunity or an artistic one, or both?
Artistic.
Okay.
Because in my head, I was trying to, whatever I do, I want to be the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like I'm not just a hip hop artist. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
If I could auto-tune some stuff up, I feel like I could be the best singer in the world. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like whatever I do, I want to be the best at it. And so I want to be the best artist in the world.
Yeah.
Who are these guys he's with? I'm curious.
Let me see if they got the names here down below. John Caramencia and Joe Cascarelli. I don't. Yeah, that's right. They're from New York Times, I believe.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's nice.
See, some of this, I'm gonna tell y'all what I said in the group chat. Some of the scariest words you gonna ever hear on YouTube is I'll give you one of them. Deleted saying hey, who should I pack up next? And then also FD Signifier saying, putting my pen to it. I'll be back in 2 weeks. That's the scary shit right there. what do you make of that What do you make of that? Because it's obviously been going viral, and someone shared the clip, and I think somebody higher up told them to put it down because everybody was firing on it.
I cannot find it. I tried to look it up.
Man,
could not find it.
It's on YouTube. They expect most people ain't gonna go searching for that timestamp, but he doesn't want to be a hip hop artist. He wants to be an artist. Huh?
So that's like. So I'm gonna tell you what that's really just that's a completely a reflection of the story I just told about that early days of hip hop. I don't think I finished the point, but so I'll finish that point and start here. So we are the hip hop fans in the mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and we're seeing two ways that hip hop can go. We have Kid and Play in them, Kwame, you know what I'm saying? A lot of fun, a lot of dancing, Chubb Rock.
Polka dots.
You know what I'm saying? Get the Party Live, you know, a lot of that dope stuff. And then we got the rise of gangster rap, NWA, Ghetto Boys, etc. And we are tricked into thinking that real hip hop is actually reflecting the reality of Black people as more accurately in gangster rap. Mind you, I'm from the south suburbs of Chicago. I ain't seen shit that NWA is talking about, but I'm convinced of that. Right. You know, I've only seen it on the news, but I'm convinced of that because the other stuff is too soft. It's not real, right? And don't get me wrong, there's a critique to make there as well. But what we don't realize, and here's what brings me back to BigxThaPlug, is that the white man was behind both of those waves. The white record label executives and their functions within our media production was behind both sides, playing them against each other to see which one would win. And that's where we were going to take it regardless. So,
it sounds like film and TV when you say that, because you'll see one image of gangsters in Walker, Texas Ranger, and it's the worst representation ever. But then you'll see, a movie get some funding and it'll look a little bit more like this, or you'll even be like Fun-Hearted. You'll get Fresh Prince. Like you'll get all these different looks of it. And it's like, who's actually behind the scenes painting this story and this narrative? And how much control do we have when it's nobody in a writer's room that looks like us?
Right. Little to none. And so don't get me wrong. The Fresh Prince, that doesn't make the Fresh Prince any less of one of the greatest sitcoms of all time. Same thing for NWA, Rakim, and all the more street rappers. I'm not saying that they made bad art or even that like Kid and Play didn't make good albums. Listen, if you want to keep it a buck, if they were making better albums, they might have stood more of a chance, right? But the bottom line was we weren't recognizing that the real power in the culture was money and who controlled it. So let's bring it to BigxThaPlug. BigxThaPlug, I don't know who his management is, but they clearly have ties to white institutions that tend to only dabble in a certain type of Black art. It's a Black art that's really loved by white people. It's a Black art that's very amenable to crossover status. I'm thinking about the run that Sexyy Red had a year or two ago, right?
How does a Sexyy Red happen?
Well, so Sexyy, I didn't hate Sexyy Red as much as other people. I didn't necessarily like her music, but it happens because like she's got Theo Vaughn spots. It happens because Happy Dad Beer Company, right?
Well, let me clarify. When I say that, I'm saying how does the mainstream embrace of it? I've dated a few Sexyy Reds in my life. It may surprise some people. I have dated a few. So when I seen it, I was like,
everybody should as much as
everybody
possible.
Everybody. I said she was cool as hell, but you gonna put her on the main stage and have her speaking at schools about. And we know what her bigger songs was, and she was up here speaking at middle schools. Yeah. Not saying she don't got nothing inspirational to say. I'm just like, somebody's prioritizing that over Rhapsody, over someone who has a message that in the 90s they would have been so, clear.
It'd been much bigger.
It'd have been much different. Yeah.
And so a Sexyy Red, a BigxThaPlug, what they represent is a specifically commodified. I won't even pass too much judgment. Sure. I'll just say a specifically commodified image of Blackness for a white audience, right?
Oof.
And these folks know this, and so then you just saturate it. So like, don't get me wrong, I've heard that Biggest the Largest song. That's a dope track. I ain't heard nothing else from this dude personally because I haven't been looking.
Did you know he didn't write that?
And then I found out he didn't write that. Right, that's just started out today.
Look, FD, this is what I'm talking about. This is why the conversation is going to switch from here at one point to the anti-intellectualism and this clip from the Broken Play podcast. But you say you don't want to be a hip hop artist, but you want to be an artist. Okay, I understand what you're saying, but your language means something. Your words mean something. And remind me, what were we just talking about right now? What was this
Sexy
last
Red.
one? Sexy Red. No. We were segueing into something that the writing. This man said, I want to be the biggest artist in the game. Then in another interview, he said, oh yeah, I didn't write the largest. My biggest rap song, I didn't write it. He said, one of my writers did. He's multi-platinum. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't write that.
At all. And he said, at all. He said, I'm like, you ain't write it at all?
He said he did the chorus. The interviewer said, you did the chorus? He said, no, I didn't do none of that. But so what does it mean to be a skinny nigga write a
Fat Man anthem?
look, like these are what I'm talking about. Like, that's why your 2016 theory is so on point. Even though you attribute that mostly with Trump, I'm like, since 2016 we got Lil Uzi Vert sitting with Ebro saying I'm a rock star, but you're here as a rapper who don't want to rap. You got rappers that don't want to rap. You got content creators that don't want to make content. Like, you have so many people who are in these spaces that want to do the complete opposite of what they're doing, and it's like they occupy the space from people who do want to do it.
I gotta push back on Uzi. I gotta push back on Uzi.
Please. I know you do. I know you because I didn't see your journey of tapping into his music.
No. You thinking of the other one. I don't like. Yeah, I can't with Playboy. Uzi, I can get jiggy with. I tried so hard with Playboy. But it's more so like, so I can at least with them though, still, they're still organically tied to an artistic endeavor. I don't get Playboy Carti's music at all, but I recognize his personal issues aside. We ain't really here to talk about that, but that's still an artist at his core. And he is not here to be commodified. In fact, same for Uzi, right? So they may be transgressive from our standpoint in terms of like what hip hop is to us. But I still see hip hop in them based on it being art, based on the underlying elements of their music, etc. I would have to take them away from Plug because BigxThaPlug, he's not an artist. That's content. Damn. He's a product, is what he's describing to us right now. What I'm kind of getting at here in this part of the conversation is I feel like they both share this in common in that they use this audience. They use like kind of like the lowest hanging fruit, which is if I make a catchy song for this particular demographic, they'll amplify it with the conversation, with the way that they share it, and then they'll bring it to a mainstream audience. And then when I'm done, thank you, I'm moving on to the next thing. And this thing of like, I call it shitting on the welcome mat. It's like when you talk about who the management is, this is where I start to have those conversations that sometimes sound conspiratorial. But I'm like, who's telling you that you got to do this to go here? Like, you got to, like, who are you telling it to? Is a message even for me who supported you when you were? No, it's not. And that's what that whole conversation with BigxThaPlug was him letting it be known. Hey, white consumer people, decision makers, whatever. I'm here for you. What do you want from me?
There you go.
I did my Post Malone song. I can do my song with Jelly Roll next. You know what I'm saying? There's way more money in country music than hip hop right now. That was a very cynical thing he did to make sure that it was being made clear to him that to the people watching that this didn't have to be the last group of white people that he talked to. He was willing to do whatever it took to get in where you fit in. And because it goes back to what you said earlier. Like, so while I see Uzi differently, I do agree that like it is hip hop that put him in front of Ebro. Right. It is rap music that put him in front of Ebro. So it's not out of pocket to say why does it have to be more than rap in that moment? You know what I'm saying? And it's because, as you said, rap is so powerful, hip hop is so powerful as a medium to amplify anything that it will bring an attention, it will bring an audience. And then you can, once you have that audience, that's really what your goal is. So you will do hip hop, and that's what Post Malone did. What's the dude that had the song that went really viral? And then I ain't never up to say, baby.
Tommy Richmond.
Tommy Richmond. He did the same thing, right?
Yeah, he didn't follow the playbook right because he said too much too early.
Right. He's like, oh, you skipping steps.
Wait. Well, you ain't supposed to say that right now. Like,
yeah.
you got to
become a bigger star. Then you do the country album. Plug was like, I'm ready. And that's what Plug is saying. Plug is saying, I'm ready to do the country album. Come through.
That's crazy. Like,
you know what I mean?
I think that's the part that I'm looking at that I'm not surprised by any of this. Like feel like I've seen versions of it throughout history. I understand people come in there and it's very like about them and their family and their team. And I don't care about what none of y'all say. Y'all wouldn't support me when I wasn't nothing. I get how a lot of this kind of grows into it. But I think the thing that gets me scratching my head is the aggressive language that is used around it, to where it's like, it's not good enough to just be like, it ain't for me. I'm doing this. It's like, I need you to understand how little value it is, because Post Malone did the same thing. That's my major issue with him, is that when he did country, he talked about how limiting hip hop was for him and how he wasn't able to go into depth in stories. Then I heard BigxThaPlug on another interview say the same thing a few months ago, where he was like, I can't tell. He said, if you're going to do country, you got to have a hell of a story. And I'm like,
what are y'all talking about?
We're not talking about the same genre that presented Rewind by Nas, are we?
I'm gonna go low level fruit. Y'all ain't heard Stan. I don't even need you to know I gave you power.
Right.
I don't need you to know me and Jesus the Pimp in the 85 Granada last night.
Let's start there. Let's start at Stan.
Have y'all not heard Stan by the white rapper? You've been to tell me you can't tell stories in hip hop. Look like, yeah, but
what about knees weak, arms is heavy?
Right.
Like, already, mom spaghetti.
Right. Like, it's not even, but that's the other thing. So let me give grace to Big X, right?
Sure.
I don't know a lot about Big X. He's young. He's a younger dude. And the state of political education, media literacy, and shout out to my homie Diallo for being one of the first to introduce this term. Racial self-esteem is really low. And it makes sense, because anti-blackness is in the fabric of this country. Anybody that tells you they have no trace of anti-blackness in them is lying, because it's reflexive. The same way, that racism is for a lot of white people, the same way that misogyny can be sometimes for us. Like, when I have to actively think, don't do a misogyny. Because instinctively, not because I'm a horrible person, but because I didn't get introduced to feminist theory till I was in my mid-20s, right? And so up until that point, these are reflexive responses to stimuli, right? So and there's so many different examples of that. Fat people, homosexual, all this stuff. It's very much in us. That's why I think we've often done a disservice of making certain isms matters of moral failure, when we should be thinking more about the structural framing of them and how it's so normalized. Because it's, what morals do I have about breathing? You know what I mean?
Right.
So coming back to BigxThaPlug, he's probably been shamed. Think about and you've been around rappers. Think about how a lot of them don't come from nothing. They broke as hell with #1 hits on the radio. And they're surrounded by white people who are richer than them by leagues, while also telling them that they're the big star. And how that creates a lot of confusion, and how that creates a desperation, because he knows that he needs his next big hit to go viral. He knows he needs his TikTok sound. You know what I'm saying? He knows that if Happy Dad or gambling site, I know he did a gambling video, commercial.
Ironically, not to cut your point, ironically, the next video we can react to, I just found out in my research that they're sponsored by Prize Picks. But continue.
Yeah, he did. We'll come back to that.
No, you can finish your point. I just want to make sure when you said that, I had to put a pin.
There's more there to it, but I want to.
Yeah.
So he knows what he actually has to do to get money, and that, just for lack of better putting it, that has to feel away. So of course there's an internal shame around the art he's actually doing, because it ain't got him to where the people around him are at. So he thinks intrinsically, I must need to be more than a rapper. I must need to be more than hip hop if I really want to really be the biggest, the largest, and really get money and really do this, do that, and the third. Yeah. So it's reflexive. It's like I never like a lot of this stuff happens. These different, like culture war topics. It's not that I don't have an opinion or don't see them as what they are. It's that I know that they're always bigger than the person that fucked up this week. It's always bigger than that. And so while we do critique Big X for this bullshit he said on this podcast, we also recognize he exists in an ecosystem that incentivizes that behavior.
It's a symptom of a bigger problem.
And the same thing for people talking extra greasy about shit. So let's get to the next clip.
Yeah, well, I do have, because I know we're on a little limited time, but I do have one question to kind of segue this into it, in the power of language, because I feel like it's easy, like you said, this is the news of the week right now. This is who we focused on. It's easy to dogpile on that. But I heard something when I left the gym this morning. I was watching a video where this man, he meant well. I could tell he's a hip hop head, and he was thanking De La Soul. He was like, man, thank you for keeping hip hop alive. And I started thinking, I was like, words have power, the power of the tongue. In a sense, you're speaking death on something without even thinking about it. At least that was my train of thought. And so so my question for you is, more broadly, can you speak on the language that we use knowingly or unknowingly that may talk down on hip hop culture, even from within?
Yeah. I think words have power. But I tend to think that words are crafted by the atmosphere they come to be in.
Okay.
And so like when I hear people speak negatively about hip hop, I think it's important to say where does the sentiment come from? And then break that down. I don't know if policing the language in and of itself is appropriate versus processing the sentiment that created it, right?
Okay.
And so like when I hear people say, so I've never, one of my first, Nas is probably still my number 2 all time, my personal number 2. I hated Hip Hop Is Dead. I hated that era.
Ooh, just the entire era, not even just the project, the whole era.
The era from After God's Son. I gotta remember, as After God's Son, he did the double album. He did Hip Hop Is Dead, and he did something else before he got to, I don't remember the name. Life Is Good. So that there was like a 3 or 4 albums thing in the middle where he got very cynical.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And I get it.
It kind of felt like it was after he lost his mom, right?
Right. I think it was after he lost his mom.
God's Son was a big part of that too. Yeah.
Yeah. He was with Khalees, and you find out that was actually a very toxic time in his life.
Right.
Not getting into nonsense business. You get the point.
Right.
And so I didn't do a Nas fell off though. I was like, not as a casual fan, like, man, Nas was going through something because these last couple of albums have been dark and like negative. And I'll never forget it might have been Hip Hop Is Dead at the end of it, after this like long album with a lot of like, just essentially complaining. The only Hip Hop Is Dead, the song is dope. That's a banger. But there are parts of that album that I was like, this is just not enjoying this. And then he has that he had this great song with I think it had no beat. It was just him flowing. And he's like the only rapper that could do that. And I might have been the last song going in. And but then he starts kind of like talking about hip hop's not really dead. I'm like, well, Nas, I'm not getting you.
Your whole campaign.
Right. And so
even the flower, the rose being put into the casket. I mean, we can't get more direct than that.
Right. But what not so I say all to say, what I realize now is that Nas was responding to what he saw coming, which is like the current state of hip hop.
Makes sense.
So he was kind of correct, but if focusing on words and trying to convince Nas that hip hop wasn't dead was probably at the long run less valuable than if we would have had the wherewithal to sit and evaluate the corporate state of rap music at the moment. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, is that it's much easier. It's, I think, human nature to like see the thing wrong that's right there and have a instinctive desire to respond to that thing. But we have to develop the nature to say that thing is almost always a symptom of a bigger structure around it that brought into fruition. Yeah. And so the words mean things, but we got to also be like, those words have an etymology behind them that birthed them. So
yeah, that's something that anytime I talk to
Who Killed It? That's what it. No, Who Killed It was the song. I hated that song. What is this?
Look, my wife.
Kawhi Steve. Shout out to Kawhi Steve's in the chat.
Look, my wife was amazing enough to let me name my firstborn Nas. So I understand exactly your pain in hearing that, because I'm like, big dog, you gave us Illmatic, you gave us Nas's Like, you gave us I Am, like I'm with Godson. Even I love Godson. I was in high school at the time. I'm like, dog, like it was written, like you gave us gems. I don't want to be picky.
I even like Nostradamus. Everybody, Nostradamus is so overhated, but we're going to get into a basement conversation.
But no, we can obviously say that for another day. But man, I want to get to this clip right here from the Broken Plate podcast that went viral this week, where the host aggressively said how much they don't like smart raps. Mind you, this is believe an Atlanta-based or at least a Southern-based podcast.
So I know the light-skinned dude. That's my personal trainer. Oh, so we're gonna talk about this tomorrow. I'm gonna charge him up about this tomorrow.
Oh, so the gym he finna woo. Your take.
I ain't gonna talk too crazy to him, because he's not a small dude. He's in really good shape. That's Reggie Ball. He's a former. He played for the Georgia Tech and had a couple of years in the NFL. Yeah,
that's crazy. So Curtis, what I want to say is we all are entitled to our opinions. Okay. Thank you for having me on. Y'all have a good day. I get it. No, I'm playing. So I'm gonna play the clip. They're talking about one of the host is the one that's the most aggressive about it. The comedian that's on there, and he's like, he can't stand music with a message. Let's play the clip.
This clip was so. Let's play the clip. This clip.
I can't tell you how many times I'm just playing. Let me open this up real quick. All right, here it goes.
I've never been in a party and they play some real New York like Rakim. They gonna play Pop That Coochie before they play New York.
Yeah, I hope so.
They'll play Let Me Ride That Donkey before they play.
Yeah, I hope so.
New Yorkers got to learn to make music for people to party, not that junk. Nobody want to be thinking.
I ain't no joke.
No, I'm glad you said that, because that had pissed me off. That's how I feel about when I listen to Kendrick.
No.
I want to turn up.
I'm telling you, you gotta listen.
Saying?
It's a message.
No,
bitch, I don't want no fucking message in a song.
When down south people started making good music, New York moved the goalpost. Well, y'all ain't saying nothing. Music wasn't meant to say nothing. Wop, baba, loo, bam, wop, bam, boom. Nobody, you supposed to just vibe to it.
That's why Future is king.
That's why he king, because he know how to make you do this.
Yeah.
Man, he ain't saying that. I know that's the beauty.
That's the beauty.
Yeah.
That's the
because I don't know what the hell was in.
It's how you say it. Music was invented in the South anyway.
Well, I will say this. Jay-Z is my favorite rapper. But he knew how to go get Southern rappers and dumb it down too, though.
He had a blend.
You know he got to dumb it down.
Yeah. Big pimpin', spinning. They're talking that shit. He talking about being with girls and shit. I don't want to hear all that KRS-One shit. You cross the bridge. You see, man, shut the fuck up. No damn bridge, nigga. We ain't got no bridge in Atlanta.
New York was always stupid for thinking that they word means something. Like, they really think that Biggie is the best rapper. They really think New York niggas is the best rapper. They don't realize they only think that.
So you believe Jay-Z is a better rapper than Lil Wayne?
Easily.
That's my number one, Lil Wayne.
Easily.
I'm gonna tell you something, home. If you go back and listen to that goddamn Rolodex on both rappers.
This F.D. Signifier.
That's my trainer right there.
His life is passing before his eyes right now. Like, how do I want to approach this tape?
The thing that makes me happy is my boy Reggie, who is very much Southern, trainer type of dude. Right. Like, I'm not gonna put no special degrees on Reggie. He a cool cat. He's a simple dude. Lil Wayne is a great choice.
Hey, man.
He's the most, he says the least bullshit in this clip, and I'm so happy about that.
You say whatever you need to say, because we're not going to be in the gym with you tomorrow.
You're not going to be in the gym with me tomorrow. All right?
All right, it's like 10 more seconds, 20 more seconds on this. We're done.
Bro, Lil Wayne.
Wayne is that.
I got tip over Lil Wayne.
You crazy.
Damn, you hurting me.
Easily.
He number 2, though.
Easily.
Lil Wayne into it.
I ain't even finna argue like in debate that like song making.
You gotta go like bangers, like I guess.
If you go song for song, it's easy.
Ain't nobody got more than Lil Wayne, home.
Well,
let
So, I got my thoughts. I you know, it's funny because I was going to do I was getting ready to do the most unk video you have ever seen in your life today. Oh, the shaking of the fist that I was going to do today. But then I'm glad instead we're having a conversation with FD about this, because the more I watch it, the more that I felt like I got baited into this blood boiling, right? It feels like very like, yo, before we do this video, how can we really get them pissed off and push this to this ultimate edge? What is your initial reaction?
So this is very much rage bait.
Sure.
This is high tier rage bait, which also means it's low tier rage bait, right? Because the dude said a couple of things I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Black music is Southern inherently. It just is. All music, really, and all American music at least, is inherently Southern. He also said something else, which I agree with. Like, listen, at least here, I made this comment that there was some consternation around it when I talked about the fact that like I wasn't hearing Lupe Fiasco in the club when I was in college, when I was down here. It just did not hit the radios here. Now, that does not mean that Rakim won't set the party off in the East. What's that joint with Nas in New York City? New York City, like that shit was a banger. Uptown baby. It gets down like so.
Right.
So there's. Oh no, that's what I want to get at. There is a ongoing thing in Atlanta, especially around hip hop and around music and like Black culture, of just being really annoyed by like New York niggas.
This is another reason I was going to ask you that, because I was like, I know you got context. This feel like somebody put a pause on when it was Death Row versus Bad Boy, and then 3 Stacks came up and said, I just want to say the South got something to say. I feel like it was a pause, and then it was a play right when that video part started again. It was like, yeah, but we ain't forgot about nothing.
Listen, especially I was at HBCU, and I remember when I had to like, thankfully I was humble. I was just happy to be there. I was so in love with how many different types of Black people I was around, and like a couple of girls from the West Coast, a couple of girls from the South, and like a couple of girls from the Northeast. Even though I was real, Southern was my favorite. So like I wasn't about to disrespect their culture when I was there. Let me learn. Who is this? This is Magic. Pastor Troy. Okay. Like so, but I have to say, the New York niggas were very sure of themselves as the supreme beings and arbiters of Black culture. Right. And that is a thing that has historically happened in Atlanta and elsewhere. I don't know how much of it's still relevant today, but that has been an energy that I've noticed around Atlanta, brothers in Atlanta, since I was like a teenager. I remember hearing that, right? So I think this is very much a response to that ongoing animosity. I can't speak too tough to like the validity, but I know that animosity exists.
Do you think that's why Kendrick got mentioned, because of that 3rd verse on Not Like Us, or that 4th verse on Not Like Us?
No, I think Kendrick was mentioned because Kendrick has always, and so here's another thing. All right.
Come on, drop.
Here go my hottest take. Here go to what's gonna get me in drama. Curtis, I was doing so good.
I saw the steam on the green screen as soon as you said that. Go ahead.
Kendrick has always, and it's not, Kendrick is an example of a type of Black art that makes a certain type of nigga insecure. It's a type of Black art, a type of Black presentation, a type of Black intellectualism that makes a certain type of nigga insecure. And
can you expand on that a little bit?
Anti-intellectualism. It's dudes that actually, ironically, do be kind of smart, but they have a frustration around the idea that other people value intelligence over whatever it is they got. And so they really, really, really go up for denigrating intellectual shit, nerdy shit, thoughtful shit. They always want to break stuff down to, man, real niggas don't da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, real niggas have been da-da-da-da-da since the beginning of time. So like, let's talk about the South's intellectual, thoughtful, meaningful, pro-Black hip hop, like Outkast, like Big Crit, like even Lil Wayne every once in a while.
Rhapsody, like this is all Southern based.
But no, we got to be specific to the sounds that are reflective of the actual environment of the South. So like,
Gotcha.
so J. Cole and Rhapsody, yes, Little Brother, North Carolina, right?
Brother, yeah.
But no, I do want to be clear that I am talking about some Pastor Troy songs. I am talking about you know, 1 or 2 Lil Baby songs where it not only does it sound exactly like that dirty South, whatever you may want to call it, sound, where it hits that same vibration that you love about it, but if you listen, you're gonna hear some real shit. And so it really is like wow to hear him like when he said dumb it down. I'm like, dude, why you that's a self-report. You know what I mean?
Especially right now.
Right.
Because there's so many you just talked about eggs being the price that they are, the AIification of black culture, the digital blackface that's going on in that space, just all of the things that are going on right now. This is even if you do feel that way, this might not be the time to amplify that with a prize pick sponsor on your podcast. Like it just looks crazy. Like FD, have you seen this where it just seems like there are people in some of the OGs that you mentioned, not even just the OGs you mentioned, but OGs in general, they just have an inability to read the room. Is that just from being so rich and disconnected?
I think so. I think so. Well, so it's a couple things. So one, we got to reflect on what it even takes to get to that status in the first place. Let's talk. So the elephant in the room is Snoop Dogg, right?
That's one of them. That's one of them. Yeah.
That's one of them. So Snoop, you know, I still got so much love for Snoop, still a legend, all those things. Mm-hmm. But at a certain point, you realize that any man that is doing that many commercials is probably lacking strong internal controls on his politics and morals and like principles. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a couple of people. I ain't gonna name too many other names just tonight because folks.
Shaq, I wish you would hit me in public.
I'm Timbo.
I'm gonna Drake both of them. I'm gonna Drake both of y'all. Go ahead and do something in public. I'm gonna Drake both of y'all. I talked all that about a lawsuit. That ain't got nothing to do with hip hop. Go ahead. Go ahead. But yeah, because you know, like I've been called out by a legend at this point, which is a whole other conversation. I don't want to get to that. He's also one of the main, again, people that say real shit in their hip hop from in Atlanta. But I'm gonna leave that alone because it just came to me right now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So once you become that money motivated and that indifferent to like what brings you money, it's only a matter of time for you say, all right, what's the most inflammatory thing I can say or do to bring attention to the thing?
Well, Pharrell just said something recently, right? With the
I didn't see that.
You just see that? Oh, okay, I'll see. I want you to finish your point. But Pharrell,
are you about to make me more sad about Pharrell now too? You know, I'm sure he got his demons, but
I'm sorry because I just in the years that I've seen Pharrell publicly, I feel like he has been one of the most down to earth people in that celebrity position. But he said something about politics, and I was with him in the first half, and then when he landed with that. Brother, and mind you, he said this in a room full of black entrepreneurs, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go ahead and share this clip.
That'd be how it be, but
yeah,
folks get mad at me. Folks be telling me I'm too far left, and it's like y'all can't tell this a pattern with these niggas. And I ain't even against entrepreneurs,
right?
I'm not, and I want to be so clear. Let's look at my camera. I am not against money. I'm not against entrepreneurs. I'm not against folks trying to figure out how to feed themselves and grow businesses. I'm just against this bullshit. You know what it is. You know what it is.
Let me call it out with you because I just thought about when I was I'll be having these thoughts on the treadmill, and I was like, how selfish is it? Because you hear rappers say this. Look, fam, I'm just trying to feed my family. Your family is not above the foundation that you stand on when it comes to hip hop culture. You're not your family is not bigger than the program. I salute you for being so sacrificial. You know what I mean? But the idea that you in your particular situation is more special than anybody else, and that your family dynamic and your even I didn't make my way out of poverty, right? I didn't have so many of my folks have made their positions and their names by figuring out something that did not have to sacrifice their moral code to do it. It's just it's a level of like I'm special and I don't have to I can just whatever. So I say all that to say I've seen some of these takes about like, man, I'm trying to get to this country and feed my family and Hip hop ain't gonna pay my bills. Okay. How much rhetoric can we do with that? Let me do this though. I want to show you this clip real quick. I don't want to influence no writing or nothing. But
I already see the caption.
If you look at what's going on in the current political climate, I'm just saying I don't want to turn anybody off. I hate politics. Like, despise them. It's a magic trick that it's not real. I don't believe in either side. So I think when you pick a side, you are inadvertently supporting division. Yeah, it's not a popular point of view, but I just got to say, like, think about it. The wells are drying up, and then, okay, now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask myself, okay, so how do we survive? Well, are there Black people here tonight? Yeah. And in your heart, do you think for what it is that you do and who you are, do you think you're the best? Okay, so do you want the job because you're Black or because you're the best? Do you want someone to support your startup because you're Black or because you're the best? Right, so I think now for me, it's about us having the best ambition.
The crowd ain't even fully with them. You peep that? The crowd is like, for real, what the fuck you talking about right now?
The funniest thing to see in real time in these kind of events is when the crowd goes from excited to see you and I agree with everything until my senses kick back and they say, yeah, no, actually, no, I think you went too far on this one. It's so much to unpack. It's a little bit more at the end. Yeah.
Businesses, yes, they happen to be Black and brown, but it should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color. That's a point of view that I have now that I'm resting on. And if diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I want to focus on being the best because I can bank on that. Because that's what's going to get you the position. Where, I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to panic and not let me out the room because I'm the best.
I'll say this. I saw this clip and I said, you know what, FD? I said, damn, that might make the clips a shoe-in for that rap album of the year right there, baby. Coming home, baby. It's coming home. He made the sacrifice. He said some wild shit. It's like, coming home now.
Yeah. He's like, I gotta make sure my boys get they due. So pull yourself by the bootstraps up, Black people, Black entrepreneurs. Be the best, and you won't have to worry about racism.
DEI. What do you need that for? Everybody's responsible here at the top, all right? You just got to make sure that you're the best, and then you'll show up, and people will make responsible decisions about who to hire.
Right. Oh, man. and so let's extrapolate that from the previous clip, right?
Sure.
So because it's the same problem with two different entry points. The previous clip, we got a little bit of background with the anti-New York animosity that's here in Atlanta, which I understand to an extent. I don't know about it for real. I understand it. I know it's real. We got then we got them just being hyperbolic because they're podcasts, and that's the podcast game, right? And then there's a comfort level and a inclination towards anti-intellectualism, and that has there's a lot of that as well. Just the depth on that I can't even get into with the time we got left, right? But bottom line is we're still talking structural, right? We're still talking about, we got to make sure our numbers are our numbers so that our what was it? Cross picks check is what it needs to be.
Over and unders, you know what I'm saying?
Right. We gotta make sure it's
who cares who the mob is involved with and getting arrested? We got to focus on these things.
We got to focus. We got to feed our family, right?
Got to feed my family, bro.
So I actually have way more grace for them, than what Pharrell just did.
Yeah, that was violent.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. That's a good word. Because what they did is, tantrum, what I'm saying? Like, we potting. It gives us something to talk about, but it spreads harmful ideas to an extent, but it has so little power behind it that I don't have a lot of thought for it. Mm-hmm. Pharrell is already a super powerful figure behind the scenes.
Yes,
so this indicates how he moves and has moved. And it brings me back to criticism I had of him with Khalees and how he signed Khalees when she was like 17 to a fucked up ass deal. And that's why she's a farmer now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then he's saying that, in rooms with other people who aspire to have power in among Black people who aspire to that entrepreneurial class. And they're still incentivized by the same system to give us that, you know, bullshit Booker T. Washington, pull your pail up, lay your pail down where you sit. You know, like, and you know, Booker T is I'm reading a book, and I always had smoke for Booker T. Washington, who's also a favorite of He Who Shall Not Be Named, rap legend, right? But if you go and you study the fullness of Booker T's legacy, although I won't put him at anti-Black, he did that. That is literally something he would have said to W.E.B. Du Bois in 1910. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same type of shit.
I didn't know he was on that timing. I did not know that.
Oh, Booker T was definitely on. That's why there was beef between him and W.E.B. Du Bois. You know what I'm saying? And among other people. And that's kind of the thing, though, to bring it full circle, is that structurally speaking, the money is always not spent. Like, we never the money move. The money move is never the Black audience. It's always the Black. You feel me? It's the Black aesthetic. It's the Black art. It's the Black vibration, the Black wave. But it's never actually the Black people. And so once you got a piece of that Black, whatever it is, and you can parlay that to a corporation, to Happy Dad beer or Prize Picks or whatever, you liable to do all kinds of bullshit to get to the money. Yeah. And as long as they have that power, and we don't find a way to break that framework, or we can't collectively protect and project our own shit. Again, shout out to one of my mentors, Diallo. He was like, yo, when Kanye was doing all that nonsense, and people were like, why, you know, so Kanye was doing all that bullshit. And then he said something about Jewish people, and finally something started to happen to him. He finally started to lose contracts. He finally started to lose status. And Black people came back like, when he was saying all that stuff about us or about women, nothing happened. And it's like, yeah, that's true. But do we expect these other communities to advocate on our behalf? Or should that be something we collectively do for ourselves at this point? And that's kind of like where I'm at with it. Is that we have to, you know, get a little more organized, a little more on code, so that when a Pharrell comes out and says something like that, or when a BigxThaPlug says something like that, that we tap them pockets. You know what I'm saying? That we call, because that's what it comes down to. Like, please believe Kanye's anti-Semitism, these corporations do not care about. They do not care about anti-Semitism. They do not care that he was running around with white supremacists. They care that was going to cost them money. And the same thing with all these other figures that have transgressed against Black people, against hip hop, against Jewish people, against women, whomever. When it costs them money is when there's consequences. And I disagree with you, Chris, man. We do have the power to make them accountable. We just have to work harder to get organized to do that thing. But when, you know, when somebody trends on Twitter to the point where they lose money because of Black Twitter, that's us holding someone accountable. It's a little sloppy, it's a little chaotic, but it means something. You know, people lose jobs, people lose checks.
We about to see what Black Friday about to look like, because, you know, there's a conversations about a shutdown and not spending money because of how things played out. Like, we gonna and look at Target. Target just brought back the DEI program because of how they've not been able to recover from the bad press and losing all the money that they lost in the process.
And they held out all year.
All year.
Shout out to Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, my hometown, kinda. And he's talking about a general strike. You know what I'm saying? And we don't, and then shout out again to what I mentioned earlier, CJ the leftist, because I be having, you know, I be going back and forth with my more radical folks who feel like I spend too much time in moderate and pop culture spaces. But I'd be like, where this were the people at? But they also said something that I think we do need to realize, is that we don't need all the people. We just need a decent amount of well-organized people. And like when that happens, things can happen. Like, imagine if who we talked Snoop Dogg earlier, right? If Snoop Dogg's next commercial was for a product that Black people all decided at once that we was gonna shit on in public. not literally visually, but like next time he says something about, I don't know, Prize Picks, fuck prospects, all my homies hate prospects was trending on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? That might lose a check for Snoop, and maybe he gets back on code. You know, so like we all can't do that easily. There's ways to make it happen. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to shame nobody who's not active. I also want to be clear on that. Like being active and being political and doing all those things, it comes with a price. I made a comment in my last video about how Nina Simone, another example of Black artists who rode for the people, who wasn't just singing and dancing, she also died poor, right? So we are talking about a risk management assessment for everybody that's got a microphone and skin in the game. But the thing, a shout out to another mentor, Dr. Jared Ball, taught me recently, is whenever we have a conversation about like why doesn't the art reflect the struggle anymore, et cetera, like it did in the 60s, is recognizing that in the 60s, the people were on one accord, that we were actually in a struggle, right? And because we were on one accord, that we were actually in a struggle, we demanded it from our artists. You couldn't get us to come through and support you if you didn't show that you was with the movement on some level. So even someone who wasn't with it, like a James Brown, had to eventually make "I'm Black and I'm Proud." Because folks was like, "James, where you at?"
Okay, I do it. Here. You go say it loud. Yeah, say it loud.
What you said?
Look. And I know we on a crunch, and I don't want to cut into your time because I know what you getting ready to plan to do, and I don't want nobody angry at me. So let me just say this: one last very, very important question. I speak to a lot of independent artists and DIYers in this community that they have their pulse on music. I have so many talented artists that are in here. I'm an artist myself, and there's a lot of folks who are finding their own ways to navigate this space. There's this theory that hip hop is going back underground and that people are going out and consuming it in a live form, a physical form. Regardless of how anybody feels about that, what would be your advice as somebody who has had such powerful commentary that is the ripples of? I'm sure that you don't probably even know the full ripples of because of how many people that you reach. What is your advice to artists as they're probably transitioning from this era of fast food music into making music that is more, I don't want to use the word conscious, but that is aware that there's a world outside of the fantasies that they create?
Yeah. So the DIY stuff is actually ahead of its time. All of these tech corporations have made one mistake that maybe they'll correct it in the future, but they fucked up for the moment, which is they don't control these algorithms. They don't really control them. At least on YouTube, somewhat on Instagram, TikTok is a whole other conversation. But like a lot of these algorithms that control who gets access to what, they can bot stuff, right? Ain't nobody botting Billy Woods. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Right. So we actually have way more power now at a lower scale than Kid and Play at NWA had back then when they were on every TV screen, because you can now build your own platform. You can dictate what your music is worth. You can do like Makami, right?
Yeah, shout out to him.
And you can create a more useful and powerful apparatus around your art independently using these frameworks than you ever could have by signing your name on the dotted line and putting yourself in debt with the label. Right. And so my thing is to get out there and do it and then collaborate. Get out there and do it. If your music is trash, it don't have to be trash forever. And you can take that trash off streaming once you start getting big. You'd be like, that's a deep cut for only the day ones. That
was the most encouraging, discouraging advice I've heard. That was beautiful.
Because people be afraid to be bad. It's like everybody's bad at one point. Like I have like 4 videos that are no longer on my channel. It's like my first video was a banger. I was out the gate hot with that Hamilton video. But like
maybe too hot. Maybe too hot. You had to follow it up.
But the next like 3-4 videos were trash. And I was like, oh, these are, and once I hit 2,000, I hit 2,000 subscribers and took them shits off the
You said I do not associate with those. Actually, I don't want to just be a YouTube artist. I want to be a real.
I want to work with Mr. Beast.
I want to really YouTube. You feel me? Like I can do that YouTube.
Yeah. So people don't be afraid of being bad at your craft if you have passion for it, is what I'm trying to get at. And start doing it, because you're not gonna have, like, everybody's first album ain't Illmatic. Like that's a miracle that was his first album, right? To be that good, you know. I think Pimp a Butterfly, which is I would argue is Kendrick's best album. It's his third album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Probably more. And then you think about all the stuff he did before then, right? Kendrick had been rapping for a decade.
Yeah.
So you got to get out there and you start doing it, and then you build your community, and that's more powerful. Like one thing, so I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit before I leave.
Please.
One thing I figured I've learned in the last year, 2 years ago, before I hit a million, before I'm What the Culture Feeling hit, and then right after it, I was getting calls left and right. Everybody, write this book, come on this podcast, collab with this, do that, names, I'm not gonna say them now, but like big names was like hollering at me. And I was too lazy and too busy trying to buy a house for my family to really like, and also just untrustworthy of like all these different people, right?
Sure.
Once I started getting close to 1 million by myself, the calls calmed down.
Really? Oh, because people,
what they got to offer me.
Ooh, that's such a DIY message. That's such a DIY message right there. Thank you for dropping that, because people don't, and that's why I asked that question about what artists can do, because I think a lot of them are unaware of what they can do once they establish a platform. I got relationships with people that couldn't remember my name when I met them in person 3 or 4 times. Then my YouTube channel grew, and all of a sudden it's like Curtis with 2 S's, man. I would love to sit down and shout. Right. Extra time, or to the point, like you said, where the people who used to hit you start making assumptions like, well, he probably too busy, or he got his own thing. I don't really have anything to offer. Sometimes that type of success, many times that type of success exposes it all. But I asked that artist question, and I appreciate that answer, because I feel like a lot of artists, once the good shit is up here, that bullshit getting ready to come up underneath that too. When people who are like, oh, we doing political shit?
Right.
Miley Cyrus, Fight the Power with Taylor Swift on the hook. Like, it's coming up.
After the Kendrick Drake video, I got so many calls, right? And I did a fair share of things. It was cool, because I was really proud of that project. And then my next video, and this is going into the election, has a picture of Kamala Harris and Eric Adams on it, with a picture of a police officer pig that looks like the mayor of Atlanta on purpose. And it's a video called Black. I don't remember. It was something about black cops, right?
Yeah.
That was my first video after Kendrick, and so I have the world's attention. Right. And I'm like, let's talk about this black cop problem, because y'all don't be knowing about this.
Let's talk about it.
Also, like I'm a vote for Kamala, but also Kamala ain't shit. Here's why. The DA of Atlanta ain't shit. Here's why. The mayor of Atlanta ain't shit. Here's why. All them calls went.
Well,
but I didn't have it. But it didn't cost me nothing at that point, because I already had what I needed. You know what I'm saying?
Because you don't have to answer to anybody telling you, I don't think that's the best video you should go with after this. We should really ride the momentum. We should do more media that is circulating around the Kendrick Drake stuff and get all. But I think that's what's so powerful about the time we live in, is that new variables create new results.
Right. And
many times we're taking chances on things that we don't have a blueprint for, at least in this ecosystem. Yeah. And so when we see new things, they're like, I did a video that had nothing to do with the brother, but David Banner hits me up and says, I don't want nothing. I just want to tell you I appreciate the work that you're doing. I didn't even know I even exist in your ecosystem, because I don't have a channel as large as yours, right, FD? But I'm like, it dawned on me how everybody got the same internet, first of all. Right. Nobody has a different connection, but then also too that we have become the new versions of, like, in a hip hop form for our space, I should say, like the new Teen Summits, the new Rap Cities, the new 106 in Parks, the new like those conversations that were very productive and happen to be on cable. Like, we happen to have those, but now they're even more uncensored,
right?
To a certain degree, because YouTube still does a little censorship, but. This is why I love the fact that we could jump up here at 10, well, my side of things, 10:30 in the morning, have a conversation. I know we on limited time, brother. I just want to see the roses and say thank you, man.
Thank you. And we are in the same ecosystem, by the way. That's the thing that's dope, is that, like, the thing I do wish, I mean, we got to keep fighting for the ecosystem to evolve and grow, because we exist in the same ecosystem as some other folks, right? And we're like battling for the soul of what gets the most attention, because that is the power. But I forgot what was going there, and I just got a message. Oh wow!
Oh, you better go take that.
No, we got a car in the shop.
All
right.
Oh man.
All right. Let me get up out of here, man. This is
man. No, it's all good. I'm gonna chill here for a couple seconds and read off the super chats, man. I thank you for your time and brother. Anything that we can do to support whatever you got going on, let us know.
Peace and blessings. Yeah, just Charlie Kirk video coming out next week, maybe. It's an ugly one. Did you see the? I sent y'all the trailer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm gonna have to edit some parts of the trailer out, because I don't know if they're gonna be good for YouTube. Just a little bit. But that trailer hopefully will drop this weekend.
Put it on unlisted, figure out what you can and can't do, come back at it with it later. That's my favorite game. Right. Man, I appreciate you so much, brother. But I'll let you get to it. Thank you again. Once again, F.D. Signifier, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, y'all. I'm out.
Peace. DIYers, I thank you so much. I know this was last minute. I'm doing my best to bring you more collaborations like this. Because, I do a lot of talking on this channel. I give a lot of perspective, and I'm passionate about a lot of these things, but there's also perspective that I want to make sure I don't miss out on, right? And I feel like there are certain voices that I have access to, and I don't know when they'll be available. I took a shot. I'm still shooting my shots. I took a shot to see if this brother would possibly be free, and he said he was down to have a conversation. So let me acknowledge some of these super chats in here. I approve of the dragging of Tyler Perry in Black History Month. That's the patience that it requires to make these type of videos, man. And then to say, you know what, Black History Month. That's beautiful. Thank you for the super chat. Buckeye Fan 05. What is both of your thoughts on Pharrell's DEI? I hate politics comments. I guess we covered that, but thank you so much. I will say one thing I didn't say about that is we don't know these people. We admire them, and I don't say that as derogatory, but it dawned on me how much of a stranger they are, even though we grew up on their imagery, even though we grew up on their music. We've sat with them for hours in podcasts. Y'all got friends right now that have surprised the dog shit out of you this year, and you've known them for 20 years, and you don't even know them. So what makes you think, or makes us think, that we would know what their political alliances, what their political views are? And a lot of that too is us having to acknowledge that we made assumptions based upon, strangers we haven't met. I'm not putting that on us because it's still a wild ass statement, but it's something that I'm kind of having to make peace with my damn self. Spicy Cottontail. Oh, that's dope. Appreciate you. Sending love to two of my favorites. Appreciate you both in this space. One more round of applause for y'all. Much love. Thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate y'all, man. Super, super dope. If you're not subscribed and you would like to subscribe, by all means, feel free to do that. My name is Curtis King. I'm an artist, producer, content creator, YouTuber, father, husband. And, I talk to independent artists on a regular basis, but we talk about hip hop and mainstream rap abroad and the things that we feel like affect the ecosystem that we're all a part of. And I love to have these kind of conversations because they're so much bigger than just our relatively small world of hip hop, right? So once again, thank you so much to my guy F.D. Signifier. It's the first time having a conversation here on live, at least here. You can go watch the Coach United episodes and all that good stuff. Y'all have an amazing day. Can't thank y'all enough. Take it easy. Peace.
DIY.